Hi everybody, it's Susan from the Newnan Carnegie Library, and I'm here with a book review for you today. Today we're actually going to talk about more of a series than just a single book, and that would be the Trixie Belden series. This is the first book in the Trixie Belden series, The Secret of the Mansion, and if you actually look behind me, I have all the other Trixie Belden books here behind me. The Trixie Belden books were books that I grew up reading. They were some of my favorite books, and so I'd like to share a little bit with you today about this series. This series is probably like a middle grade to a young adult series. It starts out when the girls are about in their early teens, and it's about Trixie Belden and her best friend, Honey. And basically this first book is about how the two girls meet. She moves in next door into a mansion, and Trixie lives in like a farmhouse because her parents like own a farm, Crabapple Farm. And Trixie's always wanted a friend who is her age, and she's just never had that. She has like 3 brothers, but she really, really wanted a girl to hang out with. So she was so excited when Honey moved in. And so they become best friends. And so there's about, I would say, I have 32 books, and I think I have almost all of them. So there's about 32 books in the series. And I think I would compare them a lot to different formulaic series of that time, like, you know, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, and things like that. In that there's usually, each story is can be a little bit on its own, and it always has a mystery, and it's like nicely tied up at the end. So it's really, they're a lot of fun to read. In this first one, it tells how they meet a lot of the different characters that will heavily feature in all of the other books. So this first one, I think, is a really good book, and it has a really good mystery. And not to give you any spoilers, but there's something about like a mattress with money in it, and I always think of that every time I hear people make jokes about hiding their money in mattresses. But I really like these books. There's a lot about horses in them, which I really loved when I was younger. Trixie's kind of obsessed with horses, and Honey has a lot of horses, so she gets to ride all the horses. And eventually, this doesn't happen in the first book, but in the second book, they'll meet even more characters, and they kind of form a little, they call it a gang, but in those days it wasn't like the gang you would think of. It's more of a social club where they actually do a lot of projects where they raise money for poor people, and they do all sorts of projects like that. So, and they're called the Bob Whites, and so they'd like have a whistle where they can, when they're in danger, or maybe they're looking for someone else in the group, they will do a whistle like a Bob White bird. So I always enjoy that. It's just a great group of kids just having fun, and it's definitely set, you know, in different times. I want to say it might have been set in the 50s. And I think they're just really books that make me happy. I still reread them now, even, you know, that I'm not a teenager anymore when I first started reading them. But I've always loved Trixie as a heroine too, because even for the 50s, she was a little more outspoken and a tomboy, which was kind of frowned upon in these times. Like her mom is always asking her to dress up more and do more stuff, and she also has to like take care of the her little brother, and a lot of times she's thinking she wants to be doing stuff that her brothers are doing, like doing farm work and stuff like that, and she feels really almost pinned in by her expectations as a woman, which is not something you always read about in books that were written at that time. So that's why I really love Trixie. I think she's a great heroine. She messes up so much, and she's always like making mistakes. I think I really, you know, Nancy Drew is a heroine that is always kind of perfect. You know, yes, she gets kidnapped a lot and she gets knocked out a lot, but she's still kind of perfect. So I really like Trixie in that she really messes up a lot. And that just always appealed to me when I was young. It always turns out okay for her, but she always kind of gets in trouble with her parents and things like that. So I think Trixie Belden is one of my favorite heroines in books of all time. I even have a cat named Trixie, named after her. So I suggest you check these out. I think your boys and girls will both like these books. So definitely check them out. Let me know what you think about them, and thanks so much.